Most men will never know the truth about what really drives women. It's not because they don't care or don't try hard enough. It's because society has lied to them about what women truly want and how they really think. The hard truth is that understanding women means understanding their weaknesses, not to exploit them, but to finally take control of your life and relationships. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 hidden weaknesses that every man must master. By the end of this video, you won't just know them, you'll know exactly how to use them to become the man every woman respects, desires, and cannot resist. Let me start by saying this. If you're tired of feeling like you're always one step behind in your relationships, this video is for you. If you've ever wondered why women seem so hard to understand, why what they say and what they do rarely line up, you're not alone. And no, it's not because women are impossible to figure out. Women will never openly admit these weaknesses, but they run deeper than you might think. Once you understand them, you'll not only unlock a level of confidence you've never felt before, but you'll also see how to stop making mistakes that push women away. This isn't about manipulating or playing games. It's about knowing the psychological truths that drive female behavior and using them to become the strong, decisive man you were always meant to be. Let's dive right in. Number 1. Emotional validation is her greatest weakness. Women are emotional creatures. This is not an insult, it's a reality. Their emotions drive their decisions, fuel their connections, and shape how they view the world. And here's the truth most men fail to see. Emotional validation is the key that unlocks a woman's heart. It's not optional, it's not a bonus, it's the foundation of any connection. Whether it's a casual conversation, a dating relationship, or a marriage, without it, you're just another man in the background, easy to dismiss, easy to replace. But with it, you become the man who stands out, the man she can't help but think about. When a woman feels emotionally validated, her walls come down. She starts to see you as more than just someone to talk to. You become her safe space, her anchor, the person she can rely on when the rest of the world feels overwhelming. Most men fail to give this because they're stuck in their own logic. They hear her venting about her day and immediately want to fix the problem. They think they're being helpful by offering solutions, but in her mind, you're missing the point entirely. She doesn't need a fixer, she needs a listener. She needs someone who can see her emotions for what they are and acknowledge them without trying to control them. Imagine this scenario. She comes home frustrated because her boss didn't appreciate her hard work. Most men will say, "Don't let it bother you," or "Just ignore it." What does that do? It dismisses her emotions. It tells her, "What you're feeling isn't important to me." And even though you think you're helping, you're creating distance between you and her. But when you say something like, "It sounds like you put in so much effort and it's frustrating not to get the recognition you deserve," everything changes. You've just validated her experience. You've made her feel seen and understood in a way most people never do. That's the moment she starts to feel closer to you. Validation doesn't mean agreeing with everything she says. It doesn't mean pretending she's always right. It's about recognizing her feelings as real, even if they don't make sense to you. Women often process emotions in ways that seem irrational to men, but that doesn't make those emotions any less valid. If you brush them off, you lose her respect. If you acknowledge them, you gain her trust. Think about the last time a woman was upset about something that seemed small or insignificant to you. Maybe it was a comment someone made or a minor inconvenience in her day. Instead of saying, "You're overreacting," try this. "I can see why that would upset you." That sounds really frustrating. Watch how her demeanor changes. Suddenly, she feels like you're on her side, like you understand her in a way most men don't. In that moment, you've created a connection that goes deeper than words. Emotional validation is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it, your tone, your body language, your willingness to listen without interrupting. All of it matters. If she's telling you about something that upset her, put your phone down, look her in the eyes, and nod while she's talking. These small gestures show her that she has your full attention, and that's worth more to her than any advice you could ever give. Let me make this clear. Validation isn't a weakness. It's not about pandering to her emotions or losing your sense of self. It's about understanding that her emotions are a part of who she is, and by validating them, you're showing her that you accept her completely. When a woman feels accepted, her attraction to you deepens in ways you can't imagine. There's a reason why so many women say, "I just want someone who listens." It's because listening is a lost art. Most men are too busy waiting for their turn to speak, thinking about what they'll say next, or dismissing her emotions entirely. But when you listen, truly listen, you stand out. You become the man who gets her, the man who sees her for who she really is. And that's a man she can't help but respect and admire. But don't mistake validation for weakness. It's not about being a doormat or letting her walk all over you. It's about being strong enough to hold space for her emotions without letting them control you. A man who can validate a woman's feelings without losing his composure is a man who commands respect. He's a man who knows his worth and isn't afraid to show compassion. Some men think this sounds too soft, like it's catering to her needs at the expense of your own. But let me ask you this. What's stronger, dismissing her emotions and creating distance, or validating her emotions and building a connection that makes her want to be around you? Strength isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about facing them head-on and knowing how to handle them with confidence. Here's another example to drive this home. She's venting about a disagreement with her friend. Most men will jump to conclusions, offering advice, or trying to downplay the situation. But what if instead you said, "It sounds like that conversation really hurt you. I can see why it's bothering you." In that moment, you're not just validating her feelings. You're showing her that you care enough to understand her perspective. That's what makes a man irreplaceable. Validation isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. It's the understanding that emotions aren't something to be fixed. They're something to be acknowledged. When you shift your perspective and start seeing her emotions as an opportunity to connect rather than a problem to solve, everything changes. She starts to open up to you in ways she never has before. She starts to trust you more, respect you more, and desire you more. Women don't want a man who's perfect. They want a man who's present. They want a man who can handle their emotions without running away, shutting down, or trying to take control. And when you become that man, you'll find that relationships become easier, more fulfilling, and far more rewarding. Number 2, she's obsessed with being understood. A woman's deepest fear isn't rejection or being left behind. It's not being understood. This obsession with being understood drives nearly every interaction, every argument, and every frustration she experiences. If you've ever been caught in a fight that seemed to come out of nowhere, chances are it wasn't about what you said. It was about how you made her feel. Women crave connection, but at the core of that connection is the feeling that someone truly gets them. And if she feels like you don't understand her, she will withdraw, create drama, or even start looking for someone else who will. When she says, "You don't listen to me," what she's really saying is, "You don't see me." Nothing cuts deeper to her than feeling invisible to the person she values most. This is where most men fail. They hear the words but miss the meaning. They get defensive, argue back, or try to rationalize the situation, not realizing they're walking straight into a trap of their own making. You see, being understood isn't just a preference for women, it's a need. And if you don't fulfill that need, No amount of gifts, compliments or grand gestures will ever make up for it. She'll still feel like something's missing, like you're not the man she thought you were. But when you show her that you do understand her, you'll create a bond so strong that no one else can compete. Understanding her doesn't mean agreeing with everything she says. It doesn't mean abandoning your own logic or letting her dictate the relationship. It means listening to her, not just to her words, but to the emotions behind them. It means showing her that her feelings matter to you, even if you don't share them. For example, imagine she's upset about a conversation with her friend. She says, "I feel like she's always dismissing me." Most men will respond with something like, "You're overthinking it," or "She probably didn't mean it like that." And in doing so, they just confirm her worst fear, that you don't get it, that you don't care enough to try. But if you respond by saying, "It sounds like you're hurt because you feel unappreciated in that friendship," you've just done something most men never do. You've shown her that you understand how she feels. And that alone can completely change the dynamic of your relationship. Let's take it even deeper. When a woman shares her frustrations, she's not just venting, she's testing you. She's looking to see if you're the kind of man who can handle her emotions, who can step up and give her the understanding she craves. And if you fail that test, she'll start to lose respect for you. She may not even realize it at first, but over time, that lack of understanding will erode her attraction to you. But if you pass that test, if you listen, validate, and show her that you truly understand, she'll feel a level of connection to you that she's never felt before. Here's where it gets even more important. A woman's obsession with being understood isn't just about the big conversations or dramatic fights. It's about the little moments too. It's about the way you respond when she tells you about her day. It's about whether you notice when she's feeling off, even if she doesn't say anything. It's about whether you pay attention to the things that matter to her, even if they seem trivial to you. For example, let's say she mentions that she's nervous about an upcoming meeting at work. A man who doesn't understand her will brush it off, say, "You'll do fine," and move on. But a man who gets her will take a moment to dig deeper. He'll ask her what's making her nervous. He'll acknowledge her feelings and remind her of her strengths. In doing so, he'll show her that he sees her not just as a woman, but as a human being with fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities. This is what separates the men who truly connect with women from the ones who don't. Most men treat women like puzzles to be solved, trying to figure out the right thing to say or do to get the outcome they want. But women aren't puzzles. They're people. And what they want more than anything is to feel seen, heard, and understood. If you can give her that, you'll become the man she can't stop thinking about. But don't confuse understanding with weakness. Being a man who understands women doesn't mean letting her emotions dictate your life. It doesn't mean sacrificing your own boundaries or losing your sense of self. It means being strong enough to hold space for her emotions without being consumed by them. It means showing her that you can handle her at her worst without losing your composure. And that kind of strength is rare. Most men crumble when faced with a woman's emotions. They either get defensive, shut down, or try to fix the problem as quickly as possible so they don't have to deal with it anymore. But a truly strong man stays calm, listens, and responds with clarity and confidence. He doesn't let her emotions control him, but he also doesn't dismiss them. He finds the balance between understanding her and staying true to himself, and that balance is what makes him irresistible. Let me put it this way. A woman will forgive a lot of things, but she will never forgive feeling misunderstood. She'll forgive mistakes, arguments, even moments of weakness. But if she feels like you don't see her for who she really is, she'll start to pull away, and once that happens, it's almost impossible to get her back. So don't underestimate the power of understanding. Don't think it's enough to just listen to her words without paying attention to the emotions behind them. Don't think you can buy her affection or win her over with surface-level gestures. If you want to connect with her on a deeper level, you have to show her that you understand her, not just as a woman, but as a person. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you'll always know the right thing to say or do, but it does mean you have to try. You have to be willing to listen, to ask questions, and to show her that her feelings matter to you. And when you do, you'll find that the rewards are worth it. You'll find that she starts to trust you more, open up to you more, and rely on you in ways she's never relied on anyone else. Understanding isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. It's about shifting your perspective and realizing that her emotions aren't a problem to be solved. They're an opportunity to connect. When you embrace that mindset, everything changes. She starts to see you as the man who truly gets her, the man who stands out from all the rest. And that's a position no one else can take from you. Number 3, confidence attracts, but control repels. Confidence is one of the most magnetic traits a man can have. It's the silent force that draws people toward you, commands respect, and sets you apart from the crowd. For women, confidence is more than attractive. It's irresistible. It signals strength, security, and a sense of purpose. But here's the catch. The moment confidence tips into control, it backfires. Instead of inspiring trust and admiration, it triggers resistance and fear. If you don't understand where that line is, you're destined to sabotage even your best relationships. A woman is naturally drawn to a confident man because it makes her feel safe. Confidence shows her that you're capable of leading, making decisions, and standing firm in who you are. It's the energy that says, I don't need anyone's approval and I'm not afraid to go after what I want. But control, that's a different story. When confidence turns into control, it suffocates her. It strips her of the freedom and independence she craves, and it turns you into the very thing she's trying to avoid. A man who sees her as a possession rather than a partner. So, how do you walk that line? How do you show confidence without slipping into control? The first step is understanding the difference between leading and dominating. Leading is about guiding with strength and clarity while respecting her autonomy. Dominating is about forcing your will onto her, leaving no room for her voice or choices. The former builds trust, the latter destroys it. Think about it like this. A confident man will say, "Let's try that new sushi place tonight. I think you'll love it." A controlling man will say, "We're eating sushi tonight, and that's final." Do you see the difference? In both scenarios, the man is making a decision, but only one of them leaves room for her to feel valued and respected. Confidence leads with consideration. Control leads with selfishness. This balance becomes even more important in situations where there's conflict. Let's say she wants to spend time with her friends on a night you'd planned a date. A confident man respects her choice and adjusts the plans. He knows his worth isn't tied to her constant availability. A controlling man, on the other hand, will push back, insisting she change her plans to fit his. In doing so, he reveals his insecurity. Control isn't strength, it's fear dressed up as dominance, and women can sense it from a mile away. Confidence, on the other hand, doesn't waver. It's steady, calm, and unshaken by external circumstances. A confident man doesn't need to control the situation because he trusts himself enough to handle whatever comes his way. That kind of energy is magnetic. It draws women in because it makes them feel secure without feeling trapped. They know they can rely on you without losing themselves in the process. But let's go deeper. Confidence isn't just about how you act. It's about how you carry yourself. It's in your body language, your tone of voice, your ability to maintain eye contact, It's in the way you handle challenges and setbacks. A confident man doesn't panic when things go wrong. He adapts, stays calm, and keeps moving forward. And that's the kind of man a woman wants by her side, not someone who crumbles under pressure or tries to control every outcome. Let me show you what this looks like in a relationship. Imagine she's upset because something didn't go her way. A confident man listens to her, validates her feelings, and offers support. He doesn't try to fix her emotions or dismiss them as unimportant. He simply stands firm, showing her that he can handle her at her most vulnerable. A controlling man, on the other hand, might try to shut her down, telling her she's overreacting or that she needs to calm down. In doing so, he proves that he's not as strong as he pretends to be. Women are incredibly perceptive. They can tell the difference between genuine confidence and fake bravado. They can see when a man is truly secure in himself and when he's overcompensating out of fear. The moment they sense control creeping in, they start to pull away. It's not because they don't want a strong man, it's because they want a man who's strong enough to respect their independence. This balance is especially important in today's world, where women value their freedom and autonomy more than ever. They're not looking for a man to dominate them. They're looking for a man who can complement their strength with his own. They want a partner, not a dictator. And if you can show her that you can lead without controlling, you'll become the man she can't resist. So how do you cultivate this kind of confidence? It starts with knowing yourself. A man who is truly confident doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He doesn't need to control the people around him to feel powerful. He knows his worth, and he's secure in it. He sets boundaries, makes decisions, and stands firm in his values. But he does so with respect and consideration for others. Confidence also means being willing to take risks. It means stepping outside of your comfort zone and facing challenges head-on. It means being okay with the possibility of failure because you know that your value isn't tied to the outcome. And when you carry that kind of energy into your relationships, it changes everything. She starts to see you as the man who can handle anything, the man she can trust to lead without taking away her voice. But let me be clear, confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about walking around like you're better than everyone else. It's about having a quiet, unshakable belief in yourself. It's about being secure enough to let her be herself without feeling threatened. It's about creating a space where she can thrive, knowing that you're strong enough to stand beside her, not above her. When you master this balance, you'll find that women respond to you in a way they never have before. They'll be drawn to your energy, your presence, your ability to make them feel safe and respected. They'll see you as the man who stands out in a world full of men who are either too passive or too controlling. And that's the kind of man who doesn't just attract women, he keeps them. Number 4, her desire for security is a hidden driver. A woman's desire for security is not a surface-level preference. It's a deep, primal instinct that governs her actions, choices, and relationships. This need for security is wired into her very nature, shaped by thousands of years of evolution, where survival depended on finding a man who could provide safety and stability. While the modern world has changed in many ways, her biology hasn't. That need for security is still there, driving her every decision, whether she realizes it or not. But let me make this clear, security is not just about money or material things. It goes far beyond that. A woman craves emotional security, mental security, and yes, physical security. She needs to know that the man in her life is consistent, reliable, and unwavering. She needs to feel like, no matter what chaos the world throws her way, you'll be her rock, the one thing she can always count on. If you can provide that, she will give you a level of loyalty and devotion that most men can only dream of. But if you fail to meet this need, she will start to look elsewhere. even if she doesn't realize why. Let's break this down. Emotional security is about making her feel safe to express herself without fear of judgment or rejection. It's about showing her that you can handle her emotions, no matter how intense they might be. When a woman feels emotionally secure, she opens up to you in ways she never will with anyone else. She lets down her guard, allows herself to be vulnerable, and connects with you on a level that goes far beyond surface attraction. But if she feels like she has to hide parts of herself from you, if she feels like you can't handle her emotions, or that you'll abandon her when things get tough, she will start to pull away. Think about the last time you saw a woman in distress. Maybe she was overwhelmed by work, stressed about her family, or struggling with her own insecurities. In that moment, how did you respond? Did you dismiss her concerns, telling her to just calm down? Did you try to fix the problem for her without actually listening to what she needed? Or did you stay calm, let her express herself, and show her through your actions that you were there for her no matter what? Here's the truth. Women don't want a man who panics when things get tough. They don't want a man who crumbles under pressure or runs away from conflict. They want a man who can face challenges head-on, who can stay calm in the storm, and who can make them feel like no matter what happens, everything will be okay as long as you're by their side. That's what emotional security looks like, and it's one of the most powerful ways to deepen a woman's connection to you. But emotional security is just one piece of the puzzle. A woman also needs mental security. She needs to know that you're consistent in your actions, that you mean what you say, and that she can trust you to follow through on your promises. This is where so many men fail. They think it's enough to say the right things in the moment, without realizing that actions speak louder than words. If you tell her you're going to do something, do it. If you make a commitment, honor it. If you say you're going to be there for her, show up, not just when it's convenient for you, but when she needs you the most. For example, imagine you've planned a date with her, but something unexpected comes up. A man who provides mental security will communicate clearly, reschedule with intention, and make her feel like she's still a priority. A man who lacks mental security will cancel at the last minute without explanation, leaving her feeling unimportant and unsure about where she stands. It's not about being perfect. It's about being dependable. A woman will forgive mistakes, but she won't forgive inconsistency. She needs to know that she can trust you, not just with her time, but with her heart. And then there's physical security. This doesn't mean you need to be a bodybuilder or some kind of action hero. It's about the way you carry yourself, the way you protect her, and the way you handle yourself in the world. A woman wants to feel safe in your presence, not just from external threats, but from the chaos of life itself. She wants to know that you can handle adversity, that you can protect her and your family, and that you won't back down when things get tough. For example, think about how you handle conflict when a challenge arises. Whether it's a disagreement at work, an argument with a friend, or even a tense situation with a stranger. Do you stay calm and composed, or do you lose control? Do you face the issue with confidence, or do you retreat into avoidance? Women notice these things, even if they don't say it outright. They're constantly assessing whether you're the kind of man they can rely on when it matters most. And if you show her that you can stay strong in the face of adversity, she will respect and trust you more than you can imagine. Security isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. It's about being a man who is grounded, centered, and unwavering in his sense of self. A man who knows his values, who stands by his principles, and who isn't swayed by the opinions of others. When you embody this kind of strength, you create an aura of security that women are naturally drawn to. They can feel it in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the way you handle life's challenges. It's not something you can fake. It has to come from within. And here's the most important part. Security is not about controlling her. It's not about trying to dictate her actions or make her dependent on you. True security comes from giving her the freedom to be herself while showing her that you'll always be there when she needs you. It's about creating a relationship where she feels safe to grow, to take risks, and to face her fears, knowing that you'll be there to support her every step of the way. When you can provide this kind of security, you'll find that women respond to you in ways you've never experienced before. They'll open up to you, trust you, and rely on you in ways that go far beyond physical attraction. They'll see you as more than just a partner. They'll see you as their anchor, their protector, and their safe haven in a chaotic world. And that's the kind of connection that lasts a lifetime. Number 5. She's overwhelmed by her own emotions. Women are deeply emotional beings, and this is not a weakness, it's a defining feature of their psychology. Emotions drive their actions, shape their decisions, and influence how they perceive the world around them. But what many men fail to understand is that women don't always have control over their emotions. They experience feelings on a level of intensity that most men can't relate to. And when those emotions overwhelm them, they can feel like they're drowning in a storm they don't know how to navigate. This is where you come in, not as her rescuer, but as her anchor. When a woman is overwhelmed by her emotions, it's not about logic or reason. It's not about fixing her problems or telling her to calm down. She doesn't need a solution in that moment. She needs a man who can handle her emotions without being shaken by them. She needs a man who can stand firm, unbothered by the waves of her feelings, and show her that she's safe to express herself without judgment or rejection. Think about the times she's lashed out over something that seemed insignificant to you. Maybe she was upset because you forgot to text her back, or because she felt ignored when you were focused on something else. To you, these moments might seem trivial, but to her, they're loaded with meaning. They're not just about the surface issue. They're about deeper fears, insecurities, and needs that she might not even be able to articulate. If you dismiss her feelings or react with frustration, you only confirm her worst fears, that you don't care enough to understand her. But if you stay calm, acknowledge her emotions, and let her know you're there for her, you become the man she can rely on when everything feels like it's falling apart. A woman's emotional world is complex, and when she's overwhelmed, it's like a storm brewing inside her. She may cry, lash out, or withdraw. She may say things she doesn't mean or react in ways that seem irrational. But this isn't about you. It's about her trying to process emotions that feel too big to contain. Your role in these moments isn't to fix her or make her feel better. It's to be a steady presence, someone who can weather the storm without getting pulled into it. When she's venting or crying, don't interrupt her with advice or try to shut down her emotions. Don't tell her to stop overreacting or that it's not a big deal. Instead, listen to her. Really listen. Let her get everything out without judgment, and when she's done, let her know you understand. Say something like, "I can see how much this is affecting you," or "I'm here for you no matter what." These simple words can have a profound impact because they show her that you're not afraid of her emotions. You're not running away, shutting down, or trying to control her. You're standing by her side, and that's exactly what she needs. This doesn't mean you let her emotions dictate the relationship. It doesn't mean you sacrifice your own boundaries or let her walk all over you. Being a man who can handle a woman's emotions isn't about being passive. It's about being strong enough to stay grounded in your own masculinity while giving her the space to feel what she needs to feel. When you can do this, you become the man who stands out in a world full of men who either try to fix everything or avoid conflict altogether. Women are used to men who crumble under the weight of their emotions. They're used to men who get defensive, lash out, or shut down the moment things get intense. When you show her that you're different, that you can handle her at her most vulnerable without losing your cool, you create a connection that goes deeper than anything she's experienced before. You become the man she trusts, respects, and looks up to because she knows she can rely on you when it matters most. A woman's emotional overload often stems from a sense of powerlessness. When she feels like she has no control over a situation, her emotions can spiral out of control. This is why she needs a man who can provide a sense of stability and reassurance. She needs to feel like, no matter how chaotic things get, you'll be there to guide her back to calm. This doesn't mean you solve her problems for her. It means you show her that she's not alone, that you're in this together, and that she can lean on you when she needs to. Imagine she's overwhelmed by stress from work, family, or life in general. She might snap at you, cry out of nowhere, or retreat into herself. Most men would either try to fix the situation or distance themselves from the drama. But a strong man sees these moments as opportunities to deepen the connection. He listens to her, validates her feelings, and reminds her of her strength. He doesn't get pulled into the chaos, but he doesn't shy away from it either. He stays steady, showing her through his actions that she can trust him to handle whatever comes their way. And here's the thing. When you become the man who can handle her emotions, you unlock a level of intimacy that most men never experience. She starts to see you as her safe space, the person she can turn to when the rest of the world feels overwhelming. She opens up to you in ways she's never opened up to anyone else. She lets you see sides of her that she's kept hidden from everyone else because she knows you won't judge her, reject her, or make her feel small. This is how you build a connection that's unshakable, a connection that makes her want to stay by your side no matter what. But don't mistake this for weakness. Being a man who can handle a woman's emotions isn't about being soft or submissive. It's about being strong enough to stand firm in your own masculinity while giving her the freedom to be herself. It's about showing her that you're not afraid of her emotions, that you can handle the intensity of her feelings without losing control of your own. And that kind of strength is rare. It's the kind of strength that makes a woman feel safe, loved, and truly understood. The next time she's overwhelmed by her emotions, don't try to fix her. Don't dismiss her feelings or tell her to calm down. Stay calm, listen, and let her know you're there for her. Show her that you can handle her at her most vulnerable without losing your own composure. Because when you do, you'll become the man she can't live without. The man who stands out in a world full of men who just don't get it. And that's the kind of man every woman dreams of being with. These 5 weaknesses are not flaws to exploit, they're truths to understand. When you master them, you don't just improve your relationships, you become a stronger, more confident man. You stop chasing and start leading, you stop reacting and start deciding. And most importantly, you become the kind of man who commands respect, admiration, and desire. If this resonated with you, subscribe to this channel right now. By subscribing, you're not just supporting this content, you're helping more men gain access to the truths that society hides from us.